dear professors, dear fellows, colleagues, students, and all following us online. We will go further with one topic of the sustainability. My project was a bit more specific. It's LEOS. So we try to find out what can be done in the point of carbon footprint reduction in the organizing of the sports events. As mentioned, the sustainability is an increasingly important area in today's society, and the sports events are one of the fields where carbon footprint could be reduced. But sports events have their own legalities and need to ensure certain conditions for participants, and they are mainly financially limited. And we'll try to find out in this project what is suitable for the organizers of sports events on the national level, which recommendations could be implemented in the organization of the event. We point out 5 research questions. Firstly, which guidelines and sustainability orientations are used in sports organizations? Then, which sustainable recommendations can be implemented in the organization of the sport events? We check which sustainability guidelines are already followed among the organizers on our national level. Then we check what guidelines and recommendations could be formulated for the organizers on the national level. And we checked what is a level of awareness of the sustainability from the side of the organizers. We made 2 interviews, one survey with 252 organizers. We do the analysis and we find out that the scope of the event on the national level is basically on based on small events, and that means up to 100 officials, athletes, staff, and less than 250 spectators. The organizers are mainly aware of some impact of the sport event of the environment. That means the majority of the field of waste management, field of mobility, field of use of the plastic materials, but almost 1/5 it's not aware about the impact of their events. Then we ask them if they implement some activities to reduce the carbon footprint in the organization of their events, and almost half of them answered that they don't implement. The reasons for non-implementing has been either time or finance or knowledge, and some as well means that it's not important. And then we have asked what are the reasons for action, and the reasons was their own awareness, the requests of the sponsors, the obligations to the public financial tenders, the media influence, and the NOC influence. The last thing we asked was if they're aware of the risk factor, if they don't implement, and as well here, almost half of the organizers are not aware. And we asked them about delivery channels, how they want to get the information delivered, and they expressed that they would like example of good practices or some official guidelines or some online tools. And based on that, we make an action plan, and the action plan is prepared to provide the organizers information about the sustainable strategies, information about the public tenders for founding, information about the risk factors of non-implementing the sustainable strategies in their events. We made some tools, that means some guidelines and some action plan sample of good practices in the field of sustainability, which will be provided to the organizers. And we will encourage the local environment to implement the conditions of the sustainable events in their public tenders. And for conclusion, it's good that the awareness is growing in this field, but there are still many gaps in understanding and implementing the practices efficiently. but there is some willingness among organizers. Of course, we find out that there is some limitations. Firstly, is limited awareness, and then resource constraints, resistance to change, lack of regulations in this field, and as well as some cultural barriers. But at this time, we are in the middle of the action plan. This strategy has been already approved by the NOC in June. It will be placed in the National Strategy of Sport next week in the country. And afterwards, the guidelines will be provided to our organizers. And we hope that it will have the influence on the environment. So this is all from my side briefly. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Euros. Thank you, Euros. Paris, as we know, has